So we're going to do some weeding today. It's a really good day because it's just rained quite a lot, so the soil's nice and loose. This bed is a little bit of a disaster. I've had some disasters, some successes with it. What's happened is a lot of this, I turned it over earlier in the year, and a lot of the seedlings that I sowed, it was so hot and dry that they didn't germinate, but the weeds did germinate before they did. I think that's a little bit of a seedling that I sowed, but again, nothing much has come. The successes are the African kale, which really doesn't mind all the weeds, and these Moroccan cress, which is a type of lettuce, that they've really done good. So I'm going to stick with stuff like that. But we're going to have another go, and the soil isn't really very good. It's very poor soil. So what happened was I'm going to show you how to improve the soil, and then we're going to start again. So the enemy I was trying to protect it from was the cats with these sticks. So it turns out it wasn't the cats, it was the weeds that was my main enemy. So what to do to get the weeds out, I dig my fork in as much as I can and then lift the soil and squash it backwards. So push it in, wiggle it, wiggle it, wiggle it. It's not too bad because lift it and then push it backwards, and that just gets all the roots nice and loose. So I'm going to go all the way along, wiggling it and lifting it. This way I can weed around the crops that I want to keep. It's not going to disturb the roots of the African kale. It's not going to disturb the roots of the lettuce, of the Moroccan cress. So I'm just going to go all the way across it, going like this. Then if I get my other little tool, you can use your trowel. Sometimes I use a knife, and you just go underneath, wiggling them all out. And you want to get out all of the roots, because sometimes with stuff like dandelions, if you leave any little piece of root in, it just grows another plant from the root, so you don't want that. So see, it's nice and loose, but it's really sandy soil and there's not really much goodness in it at all. If you want to save any of the seedlings, we'll just put them to one side and we'll plant them again. But we're going to improve the soil first. Weeded my bed now, and this is the pile that I got out. What we can do is use these to make our own compost, our own fertilizer as well. So I'm going to show you now. You can buy fertilizer and you can buy compost, but I'm going to show you how to make it for free. So this certain things have got certain goodness in them. This is come out of my weeding. This is bindweed. It has a beautiful white flower, but it's also got horrible big white roots as well. So I'm going to put them all in a bucket, the roots and the weed of the top as well, the leaves. So we're going to basically drown these in water. So what happens when you put the water on them, they release all the good stuff and create their own fertilizer. You can do the same with lots of different weeds. Bindweed's particularly good, and you can do banana skins, lots of different things, but it does start to smell. So if you've got a bucket or with a lid or something, put a board over the top, and it stops the flies as well. But just leave that for a few days and you already once it starts smelling, you know it's doing something good, it's rotting, and you can keep pouring it on your plants and topping it up with some more water and some more weeds. Another good thing, you do the same thing. Some of you might have this comfrey, so just add those leaves in as well. Comfrey is especially good for fertilizer for the plants. The other thing is these weeds, which are just the weeds I pulled up, they've only got little roots. They're not the really bad roots. They could actually go on your compost heap. If you get it hot enough, it does kill them. But what I try and do is I bag them up, put them in a black bag, thick black bag, tie it up, and then it rots down. This is one that I did with leaves, and you can see how nice it's starting to turn into soil. So you can do the same, just tie up the bag, do the same with these weeds, and leave it. Keep turning it over and turning it back again. It's the same as like a miniature compost heap. The other thing I got out, they're not weeds, they're my lettuce crop, but they're starting to go big and tall, so that means they need to come out of the ground. So I'm going to pick off all the lettuce that I can eat, and these can go on my compost heap. If you've got a compost bin like this one over here, you can use this. I put all my potato peelings, veg peelings, cardboard, ripped up cardboard, newspaper, old plant pot, you know, stuff in the plant pots. But what happens is I keep putting water on it because it gets too dry. So I keep pouring a bit of water in, and I'll leave the lid off and let it rain in there. And eventually it will turn to soil on its own. But what it needs mixing up. So if I get the fork, and just give it a little bit of a turn. So every now and again you need to turn it round, and it starts, you see the soil at the bottom. So it's starting at the bottom, but the top needs mixing up. My favourite way to make compost is just on an open heap, just a big pile with grass cuttings and everything on it. So I'll show you what I've made with that. This is homemade compost. That's it when it hasn't been sieved. So it's quite lumpy, it's got lots of weeds and toys and things in it. So this is it sieved, so you can see it's much nicer. It's much more like the ones you buy in the shop. So to get it like that, when I'm talking about sieving, this is a garden sieve. As you can see, these things that I've recycled are pretty much the same. In fact, I prefer this one because you go side to side. So you just tip some in. You can do it over a wheelbarrow if you've got one, piece of cardboard, a bag, anything you like. You can do it on your patio and then just sweep it up. It's just getting all the big lumps out. There's nothing wrong with the big lumps. You can chuck them back on your compost heap, or on some flower bed that you don't really mind big lumps on it. So you see all the twigs that are left and stuff, big lumps of leaves that haven't quite composted down. So I'll just put them on the flower bed, but you can see this is beautiful now, and it's ideal for sowing stuff into and improving your soil. So what I'm going to do, this is where I weeded, so it's all clear. I'm going to keep the African kale and the purple sprouting broccoli at the back. There's a few of the Moroccan cress left, and I'm going to keep all the flowers at the back. So what to do, I'll just dig in all of that. Just spread it all over the top. And that the worms will drag it down, and other little insects, and start to improve my soil. You can see the difference. That's the actual soil, and that's the compost. So gradually this soil will get even better with the compost and the fertilizer, and the plants will see the difference. On this side, it's exactly the same garden, but there's no weeds in this patch. I haven't weeded this patch any more than I've weeded that patch. But what I did do to this patch is I improved the soil before I planted. But what I'm going to do, the tomatoes still don't look as big and healthy as the ones I've got in the pots. So I'm going to help these along with some good old cheap fashioned grass cuttings. So these are ideal for if you've already planted a crop and you want to do something called mulching. So it's rained, so this is an ideal time to do mulching because the ground's quite wet still, and the mulching helps keep the moisture in. When it rots down, it feeds the soil, feeds the plant, and also with the grass cuttings it keeps the soil warm. So everything about it is good. It's also free, and pretty soon, I'll show you in a few months, you won't even be able to see that I put grass cuttings there. But that's such a quick, easy way to improve your soil.